Harris said the former president is, quote, backpedaling, and she tweeted out this, quote, what happened to any time, any place? Let's dig into this with Pete Seat, a former White House spokesperson during the George W. Bush administration. He's now the vice president of Bose Public Affairs Group, and Erin Perrine, a former press communications director for the Trump 2020 campaign. She's currently a Republican strategist for Axiom Strategies. So, Erin, is this gamesmanship, or is there like a legitimate reason for Trump to be sort of stepping away from this debate or threatening to?
It's gamesmanship, right? This resets the totality of the election. So for them to then say, hey, we're going to wait until Democrats pick their nominee, it's a little bit of just, hot air there. But Trump will debate, and he has to debate, especially ahead of early voting starting in late September for some of these states. You have a shorter runway now to try and define Kamala Harris and to pit her on positions. Not debating would be a catastrophe. And the Trump team needs to make sure, I would say and highly recommend, they keep the same format they had for the last debate, because no audience and muting mics worked in Trump's favor. It kept him controlled and focused.
Pete, how do you see the Harris element changing what ultimately this debate, whatever the details that are worked out are, how do you see it changing things?
Well, I'll agree with Erin. I think a debate is going to happen. And what the Trump campaign is doing here, or what they're signaling, is the unexpected swiftness, the blink of an eye of Democrats consolidating and coronating Kamala Harris. The Trump campaign thought that if Biden dropped out, chaos would engulf the Democratic Party. And they want to keep top of mind for voters the oddity of this process and this unprecedented way in which she will become the nominee. So I think they have to do the debate. I think Erin makes a great point. The format is helpful and favorable to Donald Trump, but it's something that's going to happen, and we're just watching politics play out.
Do you think that there might be an additional debate? There was talk among the Trump team of adding one on, or perhaps replacing the one on ABC with one on Fox. Do you see that potentially happening?
I think they should do as many debates as they can. If the Trump campaign is certain that they can portray and define Kamala Harris negatively, why shouldn't he want to be on a debate stage with her? Same thing for Kamala Harris. If they think they have a positive record to run on, why shouldn't she want to be on a debate stage as often as possible to reach those undecided and Kamala-curious voters that are out there and potentially willing to cast their ballot for her when they weren't willing to cast their ballot for Joe Biden?
Erin, Trump seems to be saying the policies are the same, whether it's Harris or whether it's Biden. But you can't ignore that these are two very different people, Harris and Biden, right? So how does it change for Trump?
So you heard Donald Trump in that first rally after Kamala was, announced as the new nominee, where he called her ultra liberal. What he is doing there is defining her early, because as a primary candidate in the 20 race, she was to the left of Bernie Sanders. She was listed as the most liberal senator. She believed in Medicare for all. She believed in these extreme left policies. She had to moderate a bit more as the vice president under Joe Biden. So for them, by saying she's ultra liberal and saying she's untrustworthy, which was something else Donald Trump said, no matter what position she takes, they'll be able to say she flip-flopped. Oh, she's changed since the 20 election. Oh, she's abandoning her record because she can't run on it. Whatever it is, they're going to define her and say that she is being untrustworthy, which for the American people is probably a big part of who they're going to vote for.
Hypothetically, if you were giving advice to Kamala Harris, who would you have her look most closely at for a VP pick?
Yeah, this seems to be the question of the moment right now. We're in Veep Stakes 2.0. I think Josh Shapiro is an incredibly compelling candidate for her. I don't think any VP candidate is going to electorally change the map. It's never panned out that way. It's just not a reality of the race. But who can help bolster her message and show a new age in the Democratic Party? I think he really does that. I think he does it better than Senator Mark Kelly, who, while he would be helpful, especially on the immigration issue for Democrats, isn't, I think, as likable on TV as I think Josh Shapiro would be.
Pete, what do you think about the Veep Stakes?
Well, I think if you're looking for someone who is a strong communicator and messenger, she should pick the other Hoosier Pete Buttigieg. He doesn't bring her the state of Michigan, which is where he currently resides and moved to a couple of years ago. But he is a strong communicator, and undoubtedly so is J.D. Vance. I think that would be an epic debate between those two, but she'll likely go the Electoral College route. I actually disagree. I think a Shapiro or a Mark Kelly could help bring in two very critical states in Pennsylvania and Arizona.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Good conversation.